Holy guacamole! It's another episode of DuckBots Season 3. We have seen some amazing fights so far, and we are certainly going to see some more tonight. I'm here with my commentator, Duck.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Last time out, we saw some amazing fights. Serial Killer got put into the screws by Master. Sad Octopus won a very impressive main event against Pineapple. But we are moving on to today's episode. Before we take a look at the fight card, let's just take a quick look at the current standings. We have quite a few robots in obscure places. Bots like Pineapple, Hairdo, Overhead Death sitting in 0-2 holes, whereas surprise stories such as Marksman, Warlord, and Fortnite are sitting at 2-0 in incredible positions, really, and there are a lot of really good 1-1 robots out there that can make or break their seasons tonight with a win. But now that we've taken a look at this, let's take a look at what we've got lined up for tonight. It's today's fight card. Kicking us off, we have Blip against Obsidian, Pineapple looking to rebound after starting off 0-2 against H, Warlord, which we are seeing for the first time since they had two highlighted fights, against Claw Viper, Squish versus Pretzel Bite in a battle of custom chassis horizontals, Sad Octopus versus Under Destruction, Dark Matter versus Serial Killer in a highlight fight, and in the main event, it's Pumpking versus Bloodlust, two bots running metal weapons which will collide in the arena, hopefully making sparks. But without further ado, let's get into our opening matchup. Kicking us off, we have Blip. This is the BattleBots replica built by Chaotic Robotics, currently sitting at a record of 1-1. They've had a couple really good fights. They started off with a very dominant win over Tornado, which was unfortunately followed up with a tough loss to Quicksilver. But they are looking to improve to 2-1 in this match against a robot like Obsidian. It'll be interesting to see how that wedge holds up against such a large full body spinner. We've seen good durability from Blip in the past, but we'll see how they do here tonight against Obsidian. Very large full body spinner coming from Random Robotics. 1-1 as well on the season. They had a very good start to the season against Overhead Death, but they unfortunately fell to Ghost in the main event of episode 4. Looking to rebound after that tough loss against Blip tonight. Driver 2, how do you think Obsidian will do against Blip?
I think Obsidian has a decent shot against Blip, but we have huge full body spinner against big wedgy blocky robot. So, I mean, Blip should be able to control Obsidian with its wedgy blockiness, but we will have to see what happens with this interesting fight.
And here we go, the fight has begun. Obsidian spinning up that shell, Blip trying to ram it and try and stop that robot from spinning. Obsidian has been proving to be quite deadly when up to speed, but now a good little half flip with them getting stuck on the wedge, but it looks like that weapon of Obsidian is no longer spinning up. Something seems to be gumming it up, or it's just been disabled entirely. But right now, Blip pushing Obsidian into the wall, trying to see if they can get them out, but a good little counter push again by Obsidian. Blip staying strong in this match, staying aggressive, but now Obsidian doing a bit of a sit and spin attack, trying to make up for that loss of weapon. Not ever going to be as strong as their proper weapon, but hey, you know, it's a good little strategy. But now Blip getting underneath Obsidian, trying to push them towards those screws. Obsidian just able to pivot around the box, almost using that weapon tooth as a fork, trying to get underneath Blip. Very unique strategy we're seeing here from Obsidian despite losing their weapon.
Certainly is. I mean, it's nice to hope Obsidian, but I don't think that's going to work very well. But now, pushing Blip into the screws, hoping to maybe cause some damage there, but Blip seems to be getting out. So far, this has been an interesting fight. Blip chasing after Obsidian a little bit. Obsidian not quite able to do its sit and spin tactic, but there it goes, a little bit. Blip, hoping to maybe get a nice Blip flip. You know, we love Blip flips. Doesn't seem like much is occurring though.
Obsidian now just trying to get around Blip. A good little flip underneath them, trying to get them. But it looks like Obsidian is not moving. They've stuck themselves in the corner. And Obsidian, it looks like that directional indicator is stuck against the floor. And that is going to be a knockout. Blip is going to get the win by KO. Very impressive performance from Blip in this match. Obsidian, they struggled from the beginning. That weapon was taken out by that one little flip there. Looks like that directional indicator was already bent from that flip, and it looks like Obsidian's death was an inevitable occurrence. Good little push here by Obsidian, getting Blip into those screws, showing that they weren't fully out of this match. But in the end, Blip was able to scoop up Obsidian, push them into that wall, and then they just stopped. How unfortunate for Obsidian.
Obsidian died. Very sad. Blip getting a little half Blip flip there. We didn't really see a Blip flip in this fight.
Looks like Obsidian was just too heavy for Blip to flip. But with that win, Blip is going to improve to 2-1. One more win and they'll be at 3-1. Obsidian at 1-2. They need to win their next match or they're going to be in a pretty tough spot. Well, let's move on to our next match.
This fight we have Pineapple. I don't like Pineapple very much, but it is currently at 0-2, and personally I find that very funny after losing to Sad Octopus. I mean, imagine losing to Sad Octopus, couldn't be me. But this robot, very formidable opponent. I do have to say some funny things about it. It's got a very nice grabber. It's the control bot menace of this tournament. We will see how it does against a robot like H.
H in this fight has one of the best opportunities of any robot going up against Pineapple, with Pineapple being in an 0-2 hole. This is a very good opportunity for H. They have that lifter that, if they're able to put it in the right spot and force Pineapple to grab down on that cross beam of that H lifter, that could spell doom for them. H may be able to get some actual lifts in this fight, but hey, who knows? Anything can happen. H coming from Eater and BrickBots, sitting at 1-1. They had that win over Overhead Death, looking to pick up another in this fight, but against such a legendary robot in Pineapple, it'll be tough to see. Pineapple just looking for that first win of the season. Let's see how this fight goes in the arena. And we are underway in this match. Pineapple starting with that grabber quite a decent bit back, hopefully not to be picked up by that lifting arm of H. H now just trying to get around to the back of Pineapple. Right now it looks like that lifting wall of H is doing a good job of preventing Pineapple from getting any really good grabs in the front, but right there Pineapple has a great grab on the back chassis of H. Good little attack there with that grabbing arm. Now trying to wedge that arm underneath that little crossbeam, try and get a flip, but now fully underneath it, trying to get a grab on the body. Can they pick them up? But H just be able to squirm away, but now getting pushed into the screws and almost flipped on their back there. Good little attack by Pineapple in this match. This has been a fairly balanced fight so far. Pineapple biting down on that crossbeam and now lifted up off the ground. H just not able to capitalize from that attack, but now this is an interesting situation.
Ayo.
Pineapple is balanced on the back of H, but they've come off quite a while. Now, Pineapple trying to get underneath the front of H, and yet again, that front of H proving to be quite difficult for Pineapple to grab onto. H doing a good job of really deterring that arm of Pineapple in this match so far.
H's chassis seems to be too thin for Pineapple to grab onto and get a serious grab, but oh, what do we have here? Pineapple getting underneath the bar of H.
And now grabbing them from the bottom.
Another strange position.
Holding them up off the ground. H now just barely able to wriggle free of that grabbing arm. But now Pineapple trying to get another grab in here, and now picking them up. They've dropped them on their head. Pineapple sliding out from underneath H. Now balanced on their face, and they are gonna get counted out. H set up like a swing set in the arena. And that is gonna be a knockout. Pineapple, 3, 2, 1. That's the match. Pineapple gets the knockout victory after a very strange sequence of events locking weapons with H. But overall, a good performance from Pineapple. H, not exactly the highest tier of competitor. That was a really, I don't understand what that was. Pineapple, good win. H, understandable loss. They should be able to rebound in their next fight, depending on who they fight. If they fight someone good, they're screwed. But our moment of the match, Pineapple, with a little evasive maneuver, sliding underneath the bottom of H, able to set them up on their head. And that was all she wrote for the Yttrium robot. Pineapple improves to 1-2, H down to 1-2. Both these robots need to win their next fights or they're going to be in a bit of danger. Good job, Pineapple. But moving on, we have Warlord. We have not seen Warlord all season because it has had 2 highlighted fights. How silly. My apologies to T-Shadow. His fights have been boring. But now we finally get to see Warlord in action. Has looked pretty much unbeatable so far. 2 dominant wins by a judge's decision. And they're just looking to keep that up tonight against Claw Viper. Claw Viper, they can't really do too much damage to Warlord, so Warlord has to be licking their lips here for a 3rd win. But now moving on to Claw Viper. This bot is currently at 1-1. It had a very good win in their last match against Polaris. Tough loss to start out against Komodo. But now against a bot like Warlord, where they also will not be expecting too much damage. They also have a good shot of taking this fight. If they're able to lift Warlord up and out of the arena, they have a really good opportunity to win this.
Claw Viper certainly don't count them out in this fight, but don't count out Warlord either. They are certainly a very low robot, probably our lowest in the entire competition with those hinged forks. But this will certainly be an interesting control bot battle. You know, let's go and see what happens in the arena.
And we are underway in this fight. Lightning fast box rush from Claw Viper to start this fight. Warlord able to get underneath the front. But now Claw Viper with a great grab there, trying to lift them up. Just not seeming strong enough. Oh, there they go. Warlord almost out. But just able to slide free now. Bounced up on those forks. Can they get off? Claw Viper again trying to lift them over the wall. And a good little hammer shot there to counter by Warlord. And that hammer of Warlord now seems to be stuck down, but they're able to get it back up. Good start to this match by both bots, now locking weapons here. Claw Viper trying to get around to the side of Warlord to lift them up. But a good little evasive driving maneuver there by Warlord to get free. A very tactical match to start off. Both bots using their weapons as best they can. Not a ton of damage in this fight, as to be expected with a hammer versus a lifter. But so far, a fairly good matchup.
Certainly is. Warlord getting underneath Claw Viper now and pushing them around, but Claw Viper, a nice counter push into the wall. Certainly the battle of the lowest here. Warlord seeming to be winning many exchanges, but Claw Viper winning some as well. We have, Claw Viper has had a few lifts. Oh, Claw Viper just drove itself into the screws.
Stuck
That's not very intelligent.
And they got out. Good little maneuver there by Claw Viper to get free again. Getting underneath that body of Warlord. And just barely able to prop them up the slightest bit. Warlord trying to find an angle to land more hammer shots. They've succeeded in their first 2 matches at just completely raining down from above with that hammer. Claw Viper getting underneath Warlord, pushing him to the wall. Good little ram attack there. And now Warlord able to take advantage of that attack, landing some good hits. But again, those forks high centering them off the floor. Could that be how Claw Viper is able to capitalize and get the win in this fight? We shall see. Claw Viper now underneath Warlord, lifting them up. And again, a high center on those forks. But this time, I don't think they're getting free. Warlord's getting counted out.
Warlord seems to be stuck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did Warlord escape?
Did they get free? That is close. We're going to have to go to video review. As you see the timer counting down. And there it is. Knockout displayed on the screen. Warlord not free just yet. That is going to be a knockout win for Claw Viper. Very patient fight here from Claw Viper. Staying in it from beginning to end. Taking their time, getting some lifts. Waited till the very end to land that knockout lift, propping Warlord onto those forks. Good showing from Claw Viper in this fight, improving to 2-1. So far, that tough loss to Komodo Dragon, although Claw Viper did fight really hard, Claw Viper has looked very good so far this season. Certainly a robot to watch going forward.
Certainly is. Claw Viper, dominant win. Warlord, only at 2-1, that's okay. But next, we have Squish. Squish is a very powerful horizontal spinner from Oatmeal Robotics. It's very powerful. A lot of people underestimate Squish. I know we've talked about this a lot, but it is extremely powerful. It's 1-1. It lost to Goo. That's all I remember. But it had a good comeback last match, and it's certainly been looking good so far in DuckBots. Don't count them out yet.
Good comeback in last match, more or less coming back from their 0-1 start to the season against Toasted Cocoa Beans. But now, moving on, we have Pretzel Bite, also sitting at a record of 1-1. They, too, lost to Komodo Dragon, similar to Claw Viper from our last fight. But in their opening match, they had what was a fight of the week against Fruit Ninja. That was a great matchup. But now, against a fellow custom chassis horizontal in Squish, this should be a really interesting test to really see the durability of this weapon. They've been hitting incredibly hard. But it'll be interesting to see which one of these weapons ends up breaking in what is going to be some incredibly massive exchanges between these two spinners. And this should just be generally a great match. Two big spinners. Let's see how this fight goes.
And we are underway. Both these robots spinning up. No real box rush. But can we get a crazy hit? Oh, nice little tap from Squish. So far, this has been doing good. But oh, wow, massive throw. Squish
Huge
sending
shot
Pretzel
there.
Bite
Wow.
into the corner of the arena. Pretzel Bite not backing down. Squish seems to be going forward with that wedge that it has. But so far, this has been a crazy fight. We have had some great hits.
Huge exchange there between those two spinners, Pretzel Bite and Squish, just going completely at each other with weapons. Another great hit there from Squish to the front of Pretzel Bite. Oh no. The wheel has rolled off of Pretzel Bite. That is unfortunate. It wasn't even a hit, it just decided to adios from its body. And now Pretzel Bite's going to be at a severe disadvantage in this fight. Squish, perfect opportunity to land some hits and a huge throw the length of the arena. Just showing off the power of that weapon of Squish. Absolutely insane hit there from that weapon. Pretzel Bite trying to wiggle away in a good little retaliation shot despite only having one wheel and a good little jab there, but immediately followed back up with a hit by Squish. This fight so far has just been incredible. Massive hits back and forth. Squish now using that wedge to kind of counteract the effects of that massive weapon on the front of Pretzel Bite, really. This has been an incredible fight so far. How does Pretzel Bite turn this fight around only having one wheel?
It's gonna be pretty difficult for them, I won't lie. That wheel just decided to say adios and left the chat. But, I mean, if they just manage to keep their weapon facing Squish and not do anything stupid, they might have a chance to turn this fight around. We are decently close to the end of the fight, but oh, is the weapon dead?
Huge shot
Oh,
there,
no.
weapon on weapon, and it looks like that weapon of Pretzel Bite is down. They're down a drive side, they're down a weapon, and Squish is just going to town here, landing some more hits to the body of Pretzel Bite. Now trying to Melty Brain. Interesting strategy. Squish continuing to just pick apart this robot as we get towards the end of this fight. Huge weapon on weapon exchanges, but a good little retaliation there by Pretzel Bite, and it looks like Squish seems to be dragging some kind of hot glue trail around. That's not concerning at all.
Squish, you're not allowed to have a tail.
Squish now lining up another hit. Good shot there to the side of Pretzel Bite. So far, and as we reach the end of this fight, Squish has looked dominant through the full 3 minutes so far. Pretzel Bite limping to the finish as we have finally made it to the final 10 seconds of this match. But it looks like Pretzel Bite has stopped moving, but they're going to be saved by the bell. That last hit from Squish seems to have done them in, but that is going to be the fight. Pretzel Bite escaping the count out. Squish just completely putting that robot down in the few final seconds of that fight. Incredible start to this one, as these two robots were just throwing haymakers at each other, and then Pretzel Bite said, "You can win it, Squish. I believe in you," and dropped off their wheel. But right here, this was not really shown very well. Pretzel Bite, a good little spin attack there, and a huge chunk of Squish's weapon fell off. They are going to need a new one going into their next match. But there goes the wheel of Pretzel Bite yet again. Let's take a look how the judges scored. It should be interesting to see. I have my guess, but let's see. 10-5 in favor of Squish. Squish taking all three categories. Good win there for them as they improve to 2-1. Started off 0-1, but now riding the season back. Pretzel Bite 1-2. They're going to need a win in the next match, but I believe in them. But now, moving on, we have Sad Octopus. This is the Hexbug recreation of by Beetle. Currently sitting at 2-0, had an incredibly dominant win over Dark Matter, and then an incredibly crazy upset against Pineapple in last episode's main event. But coming right back into action against their fellow Beetleweight Under Destruction. Should be a tough match against Whiplash Lifter. Always tough. Those drivetrains on those Whiplashes are incredibly tough to beat. But now, moving on to Under Destruction. Driver 2, tell us about this robot.
Under Destruction is an amazing robot that has fought at NHRL because it is my Beetle. This is a civil war here. It bounced back with a win over Ree after losing in like 11 seconds against Master. That was depressing. Under Destruction has been really dominant in past seasons of DuckBots. It's also been dominant in real life. That was really cool. It beat Sea Dragon's Roar, guys. That was really cool.
Beat Sea Dragon's Roar.
Yeah, you did it. He.
That's alright. Taking a look at the tail of the tape of this match, Battle of Driver 2 and I's Veto Weight. Should be fun to see how this one goes. Sad Octopus, Under Destruction. Let's see how this fight goes. And we're underway in this match. Sad Octopus coming out of the gates hot here. Already landing a good shot to that front little paddle of Under Destruction. Sad Octopus pushed into the corner. And
you lose! I win!
And there goes Under Destruction, flipping Sad Octopus out of the arena in a matter of seconds. That is
very funny.
Wow, that's
Bro didn't even give him a water bucket to cushion his fall.
To be fair, aside from the personal grudge of this fight, Sad Octopus started the season off 2-0, but now falling 2-1 with such a quick loss, really a statement win here from Under Destruction, saying, don't forget about me, we're still good. Sad Octopus, very unfortunate, but now an even more unfortunate fight. Literally, Dark Matter, Serial Killer. This was one of those fights that it wasn't highlighted because it was necessarily a bad fight or a judge decision. It was highlighted because I thought this would be way too complicated of a fight to explain. You'll see why in a few seconds. This was a pretty good fight. Dark Matter landed some good hits to the front of Serial Killer. A couple good hits. Serial Killer, not too many good grabs. But then the shenanigans started. Serial Killer was flipped on their back, and Dark Matter's like, let me go in for the kill shot. Here I go. Yeah. Oh. The fight was eventually ruled a double knockout, but after review, the judges deemed that that little movement motion you're seeing from Serial Killer there counted as translational movement. I don't understand that. But Serial Killer claimed the knockout win after Dark Matter got a little too greedy. But now moving on to our main event, we have Pumpking. This robot, currently sitting at 1-1, had some drive issues in their opening fight against Astro Cookie. But against Manta in their second fight, they looked incredibly lethal, ripping through that weapon assembly and just completely trashing this robot. Going up against Bloodlust. Bloodlust also running a metal spinner in this fight. Possibility for Sparks. Who knows? That would be amazing. But moving on to Bloodlust. Like I just mentioned, they are running a metal spinner in this fight. Same one used on Warbird from Robot Madness.
That's really cool.
Very cool. Thank you, Oof. Bloodlust, they had a really tough first match against H. They did win it eventually, which was cool. But in their second fight, they completely obliterated Toffee. But they did get lucky at the end as Toffee made a stupid little mistake and dropped their spinner and got yeeted. But hey, we all make mistakes. Especially Toffee. They're Everton themed. But now, moving on to the tail of the tape for this fight. Bloodlust sitting at 2-0. Pumpkin sitting at 1-1. Battle of Metal Spinners. Oof versus Luke. Let's see how this one goes. And we're underway in the battle of the metal spinners. Both bots spinning up, and we have a spark!
Oh.
Sparks flying as the two metal spinners collide, but it looks like Pumpkin now seems to be a bit rocked from that hit. Doesn't look like those recurring drive issues, they look to be rocked, but there you go, the drive of Pumpkin back up. That hit almost stunning Pumpkin, but there, a good little shot to the back there by Bloodlust, and now Pumpkin yet again not driving. Bloodlust just trying to jar something free on Pumpkin. Coming in again on the front. Can they land another hit? Draw some more sparks. Good little push into the corner. Just chewing away at that front. But I think that's going to be it. Bloodlust is going to take the win here. Pumpkin not moving. Oh, and there goes the well, celebratory weapon toss from Bloodlust as they pick up the win in this main event. But we have Sparks. Oh my goodness. Wow, look at that hit. Sparks flying, two robots colliding, Pumpkin going flying. Amazing hit there. But also, if you missed it, there was a second spark. The two weapons collided in the corner, and there was another spark on the edge of the weapon. Bloodlust was able to put Pumpkin under after that first few exchanges, and eventually just left him to die. Went in again just to see if they could jar any life free on the Oatmeal Robotics machine, but in the end, an unfortunate loss for Pumpkin. As sparks fly in the main event, Good showing from Bloodlust as they will improve to 3-0 undefeated. Pumpking 1-2. That's unfortunate.
The battle of two huge angled spinners, who we will not confirm nor deny, will actually drive.
That is going to do it for today's episode of DuckBots. We saw some incredible fights. We saw Pineapple narrowly escape with a win over H. How silly. We saw Pretzel Bite and Squish throw down in what was potentially the fight of the week. Under Destruction drops that octopus out in a few seconds. Into the main event, sparks were flying as Bloodlust took down Pumpkin. But next week, we've got some even better fights. It's the Battle of Communism as Yeeter takes on Marksman.
Communism.
Imposter against Goo. That'll be a ton of fun. This fight.
What even is that, bro?
Oh, the weapon's gone. And Fortnite versus Spellbreak in what should be a very fun battle between two newcomers. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode of DuckBots. This was certainly a fun one. We had a Hexbug Spark. That's incredible. Adios, everyone.
Adios.